Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading for the week of January 10th. We're going to jump right in here. We're going to do a Celtic cross, even though it doesn't look like a Celtic cross. It is. And this is going to be part one. There will be a part two to this reading, and that will be linked up down below. I think this whole entire deck is upside down, so if you're wondering why am I flipping over the cards, it's because, well, number one, I don't read reversals. Number two, it's like the entire deck is upside down. So that doesn't count as far as I'm concerned when it comes to reversals if the deck is upside down. But Sagittarius, let's see. You start off, in your current general energy, you start off as yourself. I kind of like this, starting off as like Queen of Wands, an energy that could represent you. It's kind of like you're coming in a position of power and strength when you show up as yourself in a reading. Really good reading here, actually, in general. I would call this a waking up, like a wake-up reading or something like that. I don't think you need to wake up. I think you are waking up to like a truth or an inner truth, something that you are going to love. You're going to love it. And I love it, Sagittarius. I feel like this is a really good reading. It's like you're stepping into happiness. You know, she is holding on to this sunflower here on the Queen of Wands, and sunflowers in the tarot represent the sun. So it's like you are holding on to the sun. You're holding on to something that is going to bring joy into your life. And even look at this first diagonal, you go to the Magician, to the Ten of Cups. It's like you're moving towards much more happiness in your life. I love this reading for you, Sagittarius. This is definitely very good. Your crossing energy is the Two of Swords. I would say not a big deal as far as a crossing energy is concerned. I feel like maybe you just don't see it, is what I would say. Sometimes I think we just don't see, you know, reasons to be happy. We don't see reasons to allow joy into our lives or whatever. Maybe too much stinking thinking or whatever. So I would just say, open your eyes, Sagittarius. I would just look for reasons to be happy. And yes, sometimes we do have to look for reasons to be happy, of course. I've said it to someone else, and I'll say it to you. I don't think we're like meant to be happy. I think happiness is something that we have to create for ourselves. It's like a state, it's like a mind state. But are we always happy? No, not necessarily. And it's something that we work towards. And I think that's the best part of happiness. I was saying to another sign that it always reminds me, my brother and I, a few years ago, moved out to Seattle. It's like we didn't have any money to move out there or anything, but we did it and we pulled it off. We made it happen, right? And although there were times where I was like crapping my pants, right? I was like, how the hell are we gonna pay bills and all this other stuff? Which we always did, right? There was never anything wrong. There were times that were like scary, but looking back on those times, it's like those were the happiest times of my life, even though maybe I wasn't happy in that moment. So it wasn't like, becoming successful that, that the moment you become successful, it's like that doesn't really create happiness because you're always gonna want something more. And I think the question is there anything wrong with that? I would actually say no, there isn't. I think there are some people who, make it seem like it's wrong to want more. It's wrong to want to continue to move towards happiness. But I think it's a mindset. I think it's how you look at it that is right or wrong, in a lot of ways. It's kind of a mind effort, something I've been trying to wrap my head around for like the past 6 months. Like, is it right or wrong to be chasing happiness and not necessarily chasing it, but always kind of moving on to the next thing? And, kind of my conclusion is that I think we are here to create our own reality. So I think we should create as much happiness as we possibly can, even if that means we accomplish one goal and move on to the next thing and try to accomplish more. So that's what I would say there. And to me, the opposite side of that is a lot of people say, well, you should just be happy with what you have. But, I don't think that's very abundant thinking. We live in an abundant, endless universe. And I think that the universe or God, whatever you want to call it, lives through us when we create as much as we possibly can. So I think that's our job, right? And I'm kind of getting that for you here with the Two of Swords. Maybe you're going to have to look for reasons to be happy in your current situation, but if you do that, I feel like you will find it. Next, in the area of your thoughts, you're looking at all the work that you have to do with the Ten of Wands. This guy, he's carrying a lot of burdens. He's working his way towards this village right here. So he's about to release his burdens. He's about to put something down. And that's kind of how I feel for you intuitively. It's like you're about to release something. You're on the edge of letting go of something you've been thinking about letting go of for a very long period of time. That's a little bit different than what the card actually means. So I'm not getting like the traditional meaning. I'm getting more that you have been thinking about releasing something from your life for a while. It could be anything. I think it's multiple things with the Ten of Wands that you're thinking about releasing multiple things. Maybe it's like a job, a relationship, and a person. I think it's like all these things so that you can maybe lighten the load and make things a little bit easier. And this is like what you're waking up to. Next, in the area of your foundation, you're wondering, is it the right time? Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is a card of rushing, can be a card of doing too much at once as well. But kind of intuitively, again, the feeling I get off this Knight of Swords is that you're wondering, is it the right time? Is it the right time for me to release burdens? Is it the right time for me to, release a person or multiple people from my life? Is it the right time to release this job? Whatever the case may be for you, I'm just getting more timing energy on this Knight of Swords. I actually think it's perfectly fine for you to sit with those questions and for you to think about it. I wouldn't be rushing anything in the month of January. I would be, kind of like taking your time, not getting antsy like I am right now. I've been sitting here all day. The problem is I'm naturally antsy, right? So like when I'm sitting in one place for like 6 hours at once, I get a little shifty. But what I would say is that like I think January is a good month to just chill out, think about things, come to conclusions, then make your decision, at the end of the month or in February, something like that. So I think this is a good energy, actually, that you're having these questions popping up in your head. Next, in the area of the past, you have the Magician. I feel that you have learned a lot. He has mastery. He has every single suit in front of him over here, the Wands, the Cups, the Swords, Pentacles. He has mastery over all the suits, and I feel in the past that you have learned a lot, and I just feel that the Magician coming up in the past position is saying that you're ready for a new beginning. I feel like you're ready to start something new. I feel like you're ready to kind of like move on to the next level or do something differently with your life, and that's kind of like what I feel with this Magician card. In the area of the next few months, you have the Eight of Wands. Things are going to be changing very, very quickly. You have the Judgment card. Judgment is one of the cards. I consider it to be one of the most powerful cards in the tarot. Judgment in the Tower, to me, are like the two most powerful cards. When they come up together, to me, that's like a major change, significant explosion in your life. Could be good, could be bad. Luckily, you only have the Judgment card here, but, like I said, the Judgment card is meant to be a major life change, a major wake-up call, and I feel that things are going to be moving forward very, very quickly for you here with the Eight of Wands. I get this feeling of like a switch being flipped. It's like sometimes you realize something, and it just like a switch flips, and boom, you take off. Reminds me of when I was a kid. I'm short. I'm a short person. I'm a little person, right? Not actually, but shorter the most. And, I used to be in karate when I was a kid, and I would go to these tournaments, and I would always get destroyed, right? We would have these sparring tournaments, and it wasn't until someone said to me, they're like, hey, all these people, they keep going like this to the top of your head, and it's like if you just block it and you just punch them, then you're gonna win. And guess what? The next time I went, it was like a switch was flipped. I went to this tournament, came in first place, because it's like I learned what my strength was in being short, right? I learned what my strength was against everybody else who was like much, much taller than me. That's popping into my head for you with this Eight of Wands. I feel like you're, I'm not saying it's like in karate tournaments or something, but I feel like a switch is being flipped where it's like you're understanding like what a strength is for you. And you don't even have to have a weakness like being short or something, which isn't a weakness. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But what I would say is I feel like you are like discovering something that is becoming much more of a strength. And that's how I'm seeing that Eight of Wands, which is interesting. But, the Eight of Wands is like a slip and slide. It's like once you figure something out, you're like blasting off. You're shooting down a slip and slide. Things become much more slippery in a good way. It's like there's less friction with the Eight of Wands. And that's how I'm seeing that in your life. I'm also seeing this as an extremely powerful socializing energy. Eight of Wands to the Ten of Cups. The Eight of Wands is a card of social energy or socializing to me. The Ten of Cups is a card of your community. So a lot of you could be getting a lot of benefits from the people around you, or you could just be socializing. I'm also getting like really good if you work in social media, if you have a YouTube channel, anything like that. I do feel this could be like a lot of attention coming in for you, which would be a good thing, obviously. Next, in the area of the next few months, you have the Knight of Cups. Definitely could be love showing up. I've seen the Knight of Cups 10 times today. So Definitely could be love coming in for you here, Sagittarius. The Knight of Cups is also a card of your dreams. He's normally looking into that cup and he is imagining like his future life. He is imagining what he wants in his life. What does he want his future life to look like? What are the things that he wants to have? What are the experiences he wants to have? What type of people does he want to have in his life? I get a very thoughtful energy going on in your reading, especially with that Knight of Swords for whatever reason. Not really what the card means, but again, intuitively, that's what I'm feeling. Next, in the area of your future, this is actually this is your closest relationships. You have the Six of Pentacles. So I was getting confused because I was talking about community and relationships with the Eight of Wands and the Ten of Cups, but this is the area of your closest relationships, building relationships. Six of Pentacles could also be you giving to one person and not to someone else. You can see that he is giving to one person, not the other person. You're going to have to decide if this is a good or a bad thing. Sometimes there are people in our lives that we should not give to, right? Sometimes there are people who can't help themselves and we shouldn't give them anything, right? And then there are other people who, just maybe need a little bit of a leg up and maybe you can help those people. But really, I just feel this is talking about balancing the energies in your life. Sometimes I feel Six of Pentacles also does say, don't ignore the important people in your life, like your family, friends, or anyone who is important to you. It can just say maybe, recognizing a person in your life could really make them feel good. And the Six of Pentacles reminds us of that. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Ten of Cups, fortune after difficulty, a lot of happiness coming in for you. Feel like you're feeling over the rainbow, so to speak. There's a rainbow right on this card. So feeling really happy, feeling like you're going to be celebrating in the near future. So things are definitely improving for you significantly here, Sagittarius. I feel like very quickly, once we move into the beginning of this year, getting into February. And your outcome is the Judgment card. So major wake-up call. Like I said, you're waking up to something. These people are standing in these coffins and they're being called out of the coffin. They're being called to step out of the coffin as well. So I feel for some of you, it's saying like, hey, don't be afraid to make a change. Don't be afraid to step out of the coffin. Don't be afraid to step into a new world. But again, they're still standing in the coffin. The whole point of the Judgment card is that you have to step out of the coffin. It's like, but inside the coffin is your old life. Outside of the coffin is your new life. So it's a little bit scary, right? Maybe a little bit fearful. But I would say, I feel like stepping into something new is going to be very important for you. Very simple, very straightforward reading. There's really no reason to overcomplicate it. But what I would say is we're going to pull this card here as an oracle card. It says a merry motive, just a card of happiness and doing things that make you merry, doing things that make you feel happy, doing things that you enjoy doing. That's what I'd focus on. Pretty much every single sign has had this. I think it's really, to me, it's very simple. January, I think, is like a meditation month, I would call it. I think that every single sign should be slowing down. Like, don't try to force things to happen. If you feel tired, take a rest. If you feel like working, work. If you feel like you want to meditate or do something that makes you happy, that's exactly what I'd be doing. I really feel like we need to listen to our own selves. Queen of Wands is like the queen of listening to her body, listening to herself. She doesn't listen to what she shouldn't necessarily be doing or what she feels like she's obligated to do. Ten of Wands here in your reading, she does what she wants to do. And, we all have responsibilities, but for the most part, I would be doing taking care of yourself, being kind to yourself, doing what makes you happy. Because again, once we get into February, things are speeding up. That's like when you're going to hit the slip and slide. I think that's when you're going to be blasting off. So looks really good. Again, there will be a part 2 down below. Link is in the comments and also in the down below or somewhere up here as well. So thank you for being here, Sagittarius, and definitely enjoy your week.